and welcome back to another episode on Born to Talk with Callanthea. So, today's episode is about letting go of people that no longer serve you. Okay, and it links to self improvement because if we want our lives to be better, then we need to surround ourselves with good people and people that are supportive, not people that are going to bring us down, not people that are toxic. And I'm sure everybody has experienced people that, bring us down many times in our lives. And I've had quite a bit of experience in this, unfortunately for me. Little violin playing right now. So I'm going to share some of my experiences, and you'll probably be able to relate to some of them, if not a lot of them. And I just really want it to be a safe space where we can really just iron out any bullshit from anyone, and just recognize that we do have the power to say no, enough is enough, and to consciously choose to be around people that are good for us, right? That do serve us in some way and that we can serve them in some way and it's positive. So, that being said, then, I'm going to obviously start sharing some of my experiences. So, in my life, I've had to let go of partners, I've had to let go of friends, and even a couple of family members. And it's really hard to be able to do that. But sometimes it is absolutely necessary. And, if you're listening to this, I don't want you to feel like you can't let go of people, right? Because sometimes it's the best thing to do for you. Um, so just briefly, I'll mention, past relationships. Many of us who get in relationships usually don't end up with our childhood sweetheart, right? We end up with, number 10 or number 50 or however many people you've got to sift through to get the one. Um, and obviously that's quite natural and that's normal. And, my relationships weren't always perfect. However, I did actually go out with some nice guys, and they were good people, and we did have some good memories. But you know, when I say like let go of people that no longer serve you, I think sometimes it's about the path that you are on, right? Sometimes it just feels intuitively wrong that you know that you need to end it for whatever reason. You're both on a different path. Doesn't feel right anymore, even though there's no logical reason to think that there's anything wrong with your relationship. Sometimes it just doesn't feel right anymore. And I've had to sort of walk away from relationships that I've really respected and liked and enjoyed, but it is just where it is. So that's obviously something that I think we can all, or a lot of us can relate to. And maybe you might be in a relationship right now, questioning whether you should be with this person, right? Well, always just think, are they beneficial to your life? Do they make you feel happy? Do you enjoy making them feel happy? And intuitively, does it feel right? Because if you get that signal and it makes you feel wrong, or, intuitively it feels wrong over and over and over again, then it's probably a sign that you need to leave. But I'm just a very natural, sort of intuitive person. So I will listen to those signals within. So I would just be aware of that. But, just understand that it is completely normal for relationships to end, for us to have a new relationship and for that to end and another one and for that to end. And until eventually you do find someone that, is more in alignment with who you are and where you're at in life, and you feel really comfortable with them in lots of ways, including the gross ones. But, that's all part of being in a good, healthy relationship. So I know that it's hard to let go of relationships anyway, even if they're difficult relationships, right? But especially when, your partner is a really good person. That is hard. That's really hard to move on from, but it is possible, right? And it can be done. And, you just need a little bit more strength for that one. In relation to letting go of friendships, right? Friendships, I think everyone must have had a friend that they've either let go of or had been let go of, right? We must have all experienced some falling out or something wrong with a friend. Um, I've had quite a bit of experience. Over the years, I've had lots and lots of friends, especially when I was younger. Lots of people to hang out with, lots of friends who I assumed were very good, close friends, some of them. Um, but In my experience, I have actually been let down a lot by girls, right? White British girls. And I say white British girls because for me, that's just my experience. And yeah, I've genuinely been let down by white British girls. Whether it's just them being two-faced behind my back, or constantly belittling me, and I'm always the punchline every freaking day, which is quite funny sometimes, but I don't know, it's like you kind of learn as you get a bit older that that's just not okay. It's actually like a form of bullying, and they clearly don't respect me. So I've had to have some like tough conversations before in the past, kind of calling my friends out on their bullshit, right? Um, and trying to understand why they're treating me that way or why they're saying this behind my back. Like, why can't you just say it to my face? I don't feel like I've done anything wrong. And if I have, let me know. Like, let's talk it out. That's just the kind of person I am. But I know back in the day, I didn't have the emotional maturity that I have now. I'm not perfect by any means, but I definitely have grown more. And I feel like, when you're younger, you do kind of fall out with people a little bit easier. And you might have a bit of a shouting match, right, to end the friendship. But I have felt let down by that. But even like when I went to university, it's like I was hanging out with people, and there was like still people, especially one girl, she was just horrible. Like she acted like my friend, but then she was kind of like a pattern of the old friends that I used to have, right? Where they would just belittle me, try to make me feel small. And I just noticed it and I thought, I'm not coping with this anymore. I'm not gonna let this happen. She's clearly not being a good friend. She's acting like a friend, but she's not really acting like a friend. And I had a big shouting match with her. Again, didn't really have much emotional maturity even when I was at university. Um, but I had to call her out. I was like, I'm not freaking letting people talk to me like this or be like this with me anymore. And no surprise, we're not friends. I think it's really hard sometimes when you question yourself, or at least I've questioned myself, like, right, like, I think I'm a loyal person, I'm a nice person, kind person, fun person, whatever. I feel like I'm a good person and a good friend, but I've just had quite a few experiences where friends have just been really horrible to me. And then I've had to walk away from them. But I also think, well, it's what they wanted because they don't come chasing when I walk away. They're happy that I'm gone. um, but no one's actively complained about me being a bad friend ever. Um, so it's a little bit tricky when you're in that situation and you're thinking, what have I done? Like, what is it about me that people just don't like? Like, why don't my friends respect me or want to treat me well or whatever? Why don't they appreciate me? But I think we can always ask those questions and genuinely try to look within and think, is there something that I'm doing? But sometimes it's not anything that we are doing. Sometimes it's just a reflection of the other person and how they're treating you. So I've kind of come to terms with that, and I have recognised patterns over the years, especially with white British girls. I don't know what it is. Honestly, I find it really difficult sometimes to make friendships with white British girls. I don't know if it's just a cultural thing or whether it's just bad luck that I've just run into quite a few bad ones. But um, it's like I had like a friend at university who I thought was good, right? And we got along really well. But it's like simple things end a friendship. From them always getting the guy, and then the time when you get the guy, they don't like you anymore, and you've taken this guy that they wanted to have sex with away. Like literally, like that is exactly what happened with this one girl. I won't say her name, but and that just kind of really upset me. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like I can only have female friends, apparently, if I allow them to belittle me or I let them get whatever they want and I never do anything for myself. And that's when you know that they are not a real friend in the first place because otherwise they would understand. Um, I've also had friends, again, from the past, but also after university as well. When I moved to, I won't say where I lived, but like when I moved to another area, I made some friends, and there was this one lass, and I thought, wow, we're clicking. We're just like on fire. Like we're literally the same person, the same sense of humor, similar personality, like, and we just gelled really, really well. But it wasn't long after that she, again, started belittling me in front of people, in front of some of my other friends and in front of her partner. And I just thought, this is just ridiculous. Like, I've seen this before, and I thought, you know what? I'm not going to call her out on it because I've got low expectations with friendships these days anyway. I'll just not text her back, and I'll just, well, not text her back, but I'll say goodbye to her, and then I'll not communicate with her ever again, unless she comes crawling back and apologizes, right? And she never did. Again, that was her way of trying to push me out. So I've definitely had friends that have kind of let me down in that sense and have pushed me out. Um, but unfortunately, I think that it's essentially just jealousy, right? This happens, people get jealous. But I don't know what it is with some women, how they just think that it's okay to be jealous and to hate someone because you're jealous. Like, surely you'd want to take accountability of that feeling and recognize that it's not anyone else's fault. It's just your reaction to it. But I do feel that people have been jealous of me, envious of me. Not that I actually think that there's much really to be envious of, but I've definitely kind of got that impression, and I've seen the same patterns happen over the years. So I have like a different outlook on friendships now. Like, I'm really sort of, I've got high expectations, in the sense that I won't put up with any bullshit, but I also have low expectations in that I understand that it's just hard to find good friends, and that if you do have good friends, you are extremely lucky. If your friends have been loyal and kind, supportive, then you are very, very lucky, because I've, really struggled over the years with that one. And there are a few people that I've kind of been friends with, and they were good friends, but we've just drifted apart. And I think that one's really tough, because the door will always be open with me, because I do care about people, even people from my past. Like, I still think about them and I still care about them, wish them well. Um, and yeah, I think that there's nothing wrong, with sometimes friends drifting apart, but maybe you can drift back together as well. But some friends, like I've just kind of explained, are so toxic and so mean that there literally is no point in being friends with them. You're literally just there to be belittled and made to be feel smaller so that they feel bigger and better, right? I could say loads on this topic about friendships, absolutely loads. From different examples of what's happened. Honestly, it's quite nice just to be done with the drama. Like, it's over. The drama is over. And at the moment, I'm not really on social media. I've not been on social media for a good few years. So that's definitely another way to kind of drift away from people. Unless they are still in your life and have your phone number, you are going to kind of drift apart. Um, but I also am a strong believer that, real friends aren't, Facebook friends. You know, um, Real friends will contact you with your phone. They will want to meet up in person. And that's what I focused on over these past couple of years. And I've got some, two really good friends who are Asian girls, Muslim. I don't know what it is about Muslim girls, but they just seem to be so much nicer and a lot more laid back and non-judgmental. Again, I don't know if it's a cultural thing, a religious thing, but they just every time I've interacted with an Asian girl or woman, they've always just been really nice, really funny, really pleasant, and um, I always warm to them and I feel safe around them. That's just my experience, but. And then there are a few of the girls as well that I'm talking to at the moment, or that I know from work, who are also really lovely, and I am lucky to be able to kind of be in contact with them as well. And then obviously, some guy mates. I've still got a couple of guy mates from years, which is really nice that I can always get in contact with them and meet up with them. But I think for me, I just have like lower expectations now, where I'm not really prioritizing friendship as such. Um, it's not like high up on my list. Um, but it's something that I do want to keep working towards, but I'm also kind of just happy just to be more laid back. And if someone isn't very nice, or I see a similar negative pattern happening, then I can just walk away really quickly and just think, right, it's fine. It's whatever they're going through, whatever they're thinking, is causing them to be horrible to me. I'll just walk away, because some people just struggle to tell you the truth. Like, I'm sorry, Callanthea, I'm really jealous of you, or I just don't really want to be your friend anymore, Callanthea. Like, people find it too difficult to say those things. So they usually act out. But I can spot that now, and I feel a lot more sort of happier to kind of deal with that. But I've also had like an episode on here where I talked about being your own best friend. And over the years, I've had to really sort of focus on that again, because that gives me more sort of inner strength and self respect and acceptance. And any other friend that I have outside of me and my partner is an absolute bonus. And I will, appreciate those friendships, but um, it's not the be all and end all. And I think sometimes we struggle to let go of people because we think we're going to end up lonely, or nobody's going to see our worth. But really, the person that needs to see your worth is you, right? And other people will eventually, the right people will eventually see that. So, another sort of experience I've had is family members, and this one's really difficult. I grew up sort of, loving my family, really appreciating my family, and um, just feeling that sense of loyalty just because you are family. And I think a lot of people probably understand that and will relate to that. But I've definitely learned that some families are just really sort of broken and toxic. And for the most part, my family are amazing, and I'm really grateful and lucky to have such a kind family. But there are two people that I don't speak to in my family. I've got a sister, which I don't speak to, and I've got a dad, which I don't speak to. And both of them are very, very toxic and very negative. And to be honest, I don't really want to kind of bitch and moan about them, but just to kind of make a point, really, that sometimes you just have to stop talking or block certain family members. If you can't trust them to be around your boyfriend, let's say, or you can't trust them to not be really horrible and rude, it's just not worth it. And I will always care and love all my family members. I will, but you just can't allow people to walk over you, right? You've got to be able to have some boundaries, and sometimes even family members will push that to the very, very edge, or even over the edge, to be honest. And I think it's sad. Yes, of course, we want to have a happy family, but sometimes you just can't fix people. You can't help people and guide people. People need to figure life out for themselves. And the only thing you can do, if you know that someone in your family is really causing a lot of stress, really toxic, really negative, or threatening you or physically hurting you, like, you have to walk away from that. You just have to. You have to put the brakes on and say, look, whenever you want to change, if you ever want to apologize, that's fine. But I can't have you in my life when you're like this. It's just too much. And I have come across a few people that have had to do similar things to what I've done. And I know it's not nice, but sometimes it just has to be that way. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking, you know what, Callanthea, I relate to the friend bit, or I relate to the partner bit, or maybe I relate to everything, I relate to the family bit, right? Just know that whilst it sucks and whilst it might hurt sometimes, walking away from people that you've shared good memories with, that you love, that you care about, if you know in your heart intuitively that it's the right thing to do because there's just too much toxicity, or there's such a big shift and change that you're on different paths, then have the strength to be able to walk away. And you don't have to do it horribly. You can do it gracefully. You can thank them for everything, but you can choose to walk away from people that are no longer going to serve you, right? You want to be able to live your best life. So surround yourself with people that make you feel good. It has actually been proven socially that whoever you hang out with, you will start to take on board characteristics of those people. So it really does matter who you hang out with, right? If you're hanging around really negative people or really bitchy people, that's going to bring out the worst in you. But if you're hanging out with people that are really kind and fun and lighthearted, then you're going to feel so much better. So, really make wise choices. I've started to make wise choices over the years, and I'm really happy about that. But I do think that it's something that we all need to know and we all need to practice and we all need to take control of our lives again in relation to this. And sometimes letting go is the best thing we can do. So have a little think about that. Is there someone in your life right now that you think, you know what, I do need to let go of this person? Times have changed, things have moved on, or this person is not a good friend, right? They're really toxic. Have a think, is there someone in your life right now like that? And if you tried everything to resolve the situation, okay, and try to piece it back together, and there's still not been a shift or a good shift and good progress, then it's probably best just to leave it alone and walk away from them, at least temporarily. So have a think about that one. But thank you so much for listening. And remember, stay true to you, and hopefully, I'll see you soon.